I'm glad to be here with you all. Today, we would like to talk to you about education. It is a vital part of everybody's life. We need to start at a very young age, and today I just hope that we can take something out of this. Today, we have our panelists with us. We have Emmanuel Cook. We have Mr. James Sufiri, Tony Modi, Jire Junsuk, Winnie Letricula, Video Jokerson, and Hello Juku. And so, we would like to start off today with our topics. We'll be talking about making your decision, which college you'd like to go into, experiencing your campus, getting involved with the community and with the topics that you have in your campus, and then evaluating your decision and looking into the future with your career. So we would like to discuss all of this with you guys today. Um, so, can we go? Okay. Yep, so like I said, the contents. Making your initial decisions, experiencing the campus, and evaluating your direction for your future. So I'd like to invite these panelists to talk about this, making your initial decision. How do you guys listen? Hi, so I'm gonna start off, besides Ajin and Sophie, and start talking about making these initial decisions. Getting prepared for the future. So thinking ahead, as you all know, I'm Honey, and beginning this presentation by talking about the first stages. Getting prepared. It's always the biggest challenge. How do you picture yourself in a new environment that you've never been in? For me, I think that it's by thinking it through and weighing your options. Many youth in the early to late stages of life, I'm sure we can all connect with that. They're going through so much growth, and from personal experience, I live with them, I've been in that position. We have a hard time listening, okay, and actually absorbing advice. So, but my first point is that you should seek direction. It's important to seek direction. It's imperative. It can be pivotal in what direction it is that you want to take. There's so much insight those that are older than you have to give you, and they want to give it to you. Like us, some of us are still passing through, some of us have been past it, so we've got things to say, and we're more than happy to help. Yes, including the guidance counselors at school for those of you who are still in the high school system moving forward. Your guidance counselors can be of help to you, sometimes they're not, but mine I found were willing to help with more than just my application process, right? They're willing, to write things for me and whatnot, so don't write them off completely. It's natural to be uncomfortable with change, but you must also remember that adaptation is a big part of getting by in life. If you're scared of moving on because you don't know if it's for you, that's okay. But doing your research is most important, and in fact, it's crucial. It might overwhelm you, I'm not gonna lie, it does. But I promise that being prepared is more worth it than not. And now let's talk about factors that you want to consider when you're picking colleges and universities. Living at home versus moving to campus. From personal experience, I got the conclusion that there's pros and cons to both. At home, you have less freedom, yes, but that's not the point that you should decide that's why I want to move away because I want to be free from mom and dad or something like that. No, the school that you go to should be the reason that you move away, the programs they offer, and other considerable factors, other valid reasons. For me, I believe I made one of the best decisions moving away from home because my first year, it was completed in my home city, but then I moved away. My second year, and I've gained so much life experience. I know more about myself. The opportunities I've been offered at my university are, greater than I could have expected. So since moving, I've become more responsible, and I've gained that greater learning experience, the opportunities, just because I took that route and the opportunity was available to me and I was able to go with it, so I ran with it. And believe it or not, I'm even more motivated than I am. And that might not be the case for everyone else because some people want to move away and they think that moving away is like freedom and they just go crazy. But for me, I think that I've honed down even more. There's pressures of being at home in a way, and there's also reliefs about being at home. Yes, being at home is cheaper, but I will say that if it's to your convenience and you want to go away, you can go away, go ahead. It's a great learning experience. So which institution to attend? That's the burning question, right? A lot of us in our senior year of high school were being bombarded with these questions. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? I mean, I really don't think that 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. 20, 21, I don't know. The exact route that I'm going to take, but I'm working on it. So here, like in Canada, we have a difference between college and university. Our college is your community college, and your college is our university. So it's a little confusing, I know, but you'll get it. Also, there's options such as apprenticeship and possibly going right into your trade. I suggest the going to school option because there's so much to learn there. Even if later on you decide that school is not for you, at least you have the education. In this country, you need that as a backbone. In this continent, in this world, you need that as a backbone. So I think that an effective way to solve the problem of which institution to attend is to see what types of learning strategies are offered where it is that you want to go. So for example, in Canadian college and in American Community College, there are hands-on types of learning opportunities for kinesthetic learners. Those are people that learn by doing and might want to go to trades or a bridging program that will allow you to move in with your university in a lesser time span to finish your diploma and degree. And in a lesser amount of years. College and community college has its perks. Sometimes I do wish that I started by going to college myself, just because I see that many of my colleagues, some of them have graduated and they've gained opportunities from going to college. I'm still working on my degree, but I'll get there. Universities or colleges, in universities or colleges here, you have a more theoretical approach, right? A person who is more visual or auditory and an independent learner, right? You don't have so much material to work with depending on your program, so you might have to sit there and listen, do some writing. So if you can take notes and you're okay with being hands-on, then university might be for you. So I'm just gonna hand it over to Jen to continue talking.
Pointing for that. So we're going to go into initial decision making on what you should study. As a student, when you're in high school, your senior year, they're going to ask you what you want to major in college, like what are you interested in. When you think about your major, you should think about one, what you're interested in. Two, how is that major going to benefit you? And three, are you going to be happy in the long run with it? For what you're interested in, for students who are into science, you should maybe go into the chemistry, biology fields, maybe engineering even. And then for if it's going to benefit you, you're thinking about financially in your future, will you be able to support yourself and a family? And for if it's going to make you happy in your future, 30 years from now, will you be still sitting at your desk or in your office thinking, this is the best job I've ever had and I still love it till this day? And then go for what you're good at and then also be conventional. It's good to follow your dreams, but sometimes the dreams won't be beneficial to you. Say you're into philosophy, there's not a lot of career fields in philosophy. Maybe there's a job at a university, but that's slim for a lot of people. So if you look at like a philosophy major and a criminal justice major will have better job opportunities because it's a large field and there's a vast majority of jobs in that major. But for a philosophy major, you have to go get your master's, you have to go get your PhD, and then once you get your PhD, you're just given the option of being a professor. So that's not a very good decision. And so for the how-tos, how to apply for college. Usually students apply for college, I know in the US, we start in August, and it's in our senior year. And in Canada, they start in September, also during their senior year. And usually I would recommend that you do start early because you get your things done early and you have less stress on you. You're able to get your transcripts in, you're able to get your standardized test scores in. And then also you might be able, here in the US, I know they have early decision where you can decide to go to a university. You could choose what university you want to go to either at the end of December or in the beginning of January instead of having to wait until May or April. And then how soon to apply, again, in August. And for the amount of schools to apply, I applied to 10 schools. And that was just because my college counselor told me that I need to have different categories for my school. I had categories of schools that I knew I would get into, schools that I knew that I might have to tweak a few things so I could get into it, and then reach schools that I knew that I might not get into it, but I just wanted to try just to see what they would say. And actually, for one of the reach schools that I applied to, I got into it, and I got waitlisted by 2, got denied by 2, and then got into 6 schools. So it's good to have a lot of schools to apply to, but for my recommendations for some students, you could apply to 5 or 6, and that will give you a variety of schools. You could look into schools out of state and then in-state, and then also you could look into community college, vocational schools, those type of things. And also for students who are having a hard time with finances, universities give you the option of calling them and explaining to them your situation, and they give you the option of opting out of paying for a application fee, because application fees do add up. Application fees usually start from $25 to up to $100. So if you are having a hard time paying for those application fees, just call the school and they will give you the option here in the US of opting out of it. And for scholarships and financial aid, here in the US, I know we have the biggest scholarship that I know of is the Bill Gates Millennium Scholarship. And that scholarship pretty much pays for all 4 years that you're in school. And as long as you keep your grades up, you will be able to keep that scholarship. There's also the United Negro Fund, which is for African American students. And there's various other ones. And there's some that the universities provide, little $1,000, $500 that universities provide for students. And then also, the longer that you're in school, they'll also give you scholarships in your department. Say you're in the biology department or the engineering department, they have scholarships in there as well. For Canadian students, I know that it depends on your province. So usually you would go to like your local high school and talk to your counselors, and they'll give you the option. They'll let you know about the scholarships that are provided within your province and within the school that you want to apply to. There's also, I know in Ontario, there's OSAP, which is for financial aid and things like that. Here in the US, we have the FAFSA, which is a website that you go to fill out your parents' financial status, and they help you with the financial aid, and they send you to the various schools that you're going to be applying to, and the schools will give you the amount of money that they're willing to give you for your education, and they'll explain to you how much you and your family have to pay after they give you the financial aid. And those are just a few things that you guys should know for when you guys are applying to school. I know a lot of you guys graduated. My brother just graduated yesterday. So we're all like into this whole, everyone's about to go to college, everyone's about to get started on the journey. So I really hope that this is helping you guys know, and also for the kids that are about to go to school, who are about to graduate next year. This is your time to prepare. This is your time to sit down with your parents and start talking about where you want to go to school, what you want to do, and think about, will this benefit me in the future? Will this make me happy, and am I interested in this? Those are just a few questions that you need to ask. And then also you need to make sure you're working together with your parents and your counselor. Do not do it by yourself, because at the end of the day, when something happens at school, you're going to call your mom and dad because you might need money or something. So just make sure that you guys are working together with your friends and your school counselor, and you're being very transparent. You're not hiding anything. If you're having any trouble in your classes, if you're having any trouble with applications, make sure you talk to your parents and make sure you talk to your counselor. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Before I start, I just want to point out that it is May, so school just ended for a lot of you, and a lot of you have graduated. So for me and everyone here today, as your family and friends, I want to say congratulations. And we're proud of you. We're proud of you. Now, the next move in your education, you're going to be new faces in the classroom. Along with getting to know the syllabus of the class, also get acquainted with the teacher or professor. Speaking in general terms and from experience, getting to know your professor, it makes your experience in her classroom, his or her classroom, more enjoyable. But more importantly and specifically, you'll be more comfortable asking questions, you'll get extra help, and it'll be easier to understand your material as you go on throughout your semester. In the long run, you'll learn more and do better on class assignments and tests. They will even write letters of recommendation if it needs to. I've had coaches do that for myself to help me get through my struggles through college. Another perk to know your professor is that there's someone you can turn to in problems, as learning difficulties, school issues, or whatever the case may be. They'll point you in the right direction, whether that be the career center, the writing center, counseling, whatever. Bottom line is your teachers, they're there to help you. Getting to know your classmates is vital as well. They're the same people you're going to struggle and try and pick throughout the whole time you're in that class. So once you get to know them, you can make study groups, they become your partners on projects. And also, something I do is I get their phone numbers. So on the weekends when you're not in class, you can talk to them and communicate with them about things going on in class. You guys can help each other at all times. And I can't stress enough how important it is to be in class each and every day. In college, especially, if you miss one day, it's like missing 5 days. It's crazy. They go super fast. So you need to be in class each and every day, even in high school, middle school. Being there in attendance is very important. Teachers' assistants, they're the best of both worlds, in my opinion. They were students in that teacher that you're taking right now, so they know what that teacher expects from you, and they know what you have to do to impress that teacher. The things that they struggle with, they'll teach you, so you can learn from their mistakes, their experience in that class. And with academic relationships comes academic discipline. I know it's challenging going into a new environment. Sorry about that. I know it's challenging going into a new environment, but if you can easily overcome it. Entering college or university presents many opportunities to figure out the educational path that you set for yourself. You chose that particular institution of learning to apply what you learned there in the career field that you want to pursue. So as long as you stay focused, you have no problem overcoming the new challenges in college. Remember to keep your priorities straight at all times. Studying is very important. In high school, for me, I can study the night before a test and do well, but I know in college that's not going to work. Teachers, they give you plenty time in advance before the next test. So use all that time that you can to study for your test. And also, keep your GPA up. And college GPA is the most important thing that a person can have. GPAs, they open up doors for you that could be closed. They open up scholarship opportunities. They open up study abroad opportunities. They're the key to all doors in college. So, like in high school, they say your freshman year, keep your GPA up as high as you can so you won't dig yourself out of a hole throughout the rest of the 4 years you're in college. Same applies for, in high school, same applies for college. So, I want to leave you saying that if you make good decisions regarding academic relationships, academic discipline, at least good things coming your way, at least a better future. Thank you.
So, now that you have finally taken in that you're in college, you know what school you're going to, you know what classes you're taking, you know what dorms you're staying, now it is time to explore. Most universities and colleges are designed in a way you graduate in 4 years. And depending on if you might decide to do double majors, it might take you extra year. Like for me, it took me 5 years to graduate from the university. From personal experience, don't rush into making any decisions right away. Like I said, you have 4 years to graduate. Be patient. Figure it out what you're good at. What do you excel? What do you enjoy? Sometimes just having a passion for something, that doesn't work. If you don't get that grade, then it's not going to take you anywhere. I noticed that the biggest mistakes a lot of students make is deciding the future right away. We might think that that's something that's good sometimes, but it's not. Like, you know you want to be a doctor. So you go into university, you tell your advisor, I'm going to be a doctor. So what is your advisor going to do?
he or she is going to give you all those classes you need to be a doctor. And then next semester you think to yourself, maybe that's not what I want to do. Well, guess what? You already spent about $400 to thousands of dollars taking those classes you might not need for the next major you want to take. So your first 2 years, experience, explore, figure it out, what makes you happy. Really take your time to figure it out what you want to be. And then on your third year, make a decision of what you want to be and the exact major you want to take. So now, Jerry's going to talk about some of the ways that you can explore.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to talk about the resources on campus. There are various resources on campus that students are recommended to take advantage of. Going through school, whether you're at a college or university, is a challenge, it's a commitment, and it requires a lot of sacrifice. And so it's very imperative that students take advantage of these resources. One is being the library. As a student, if you're not familiar with the library, something is wrong. I know some people who are in their third or fourth year, and they still don't know how to go to the library and check out a book. They're very much into finding journal articles online or getting the electronic version, but it is good to be able to maneuver in those spaces and be able to look at what is available. I think that there's a lot of really good resources that you can find in the library that you're missing if you're just doing that through the internet. So reference works, it's actually, we have this database called RevWorks, and what it is, it's a database that's also, it's generic in the sense that you can find this in other universities and colleges. And sorry, when we say colleges in Canada, we mean colleges. We don't mean university. So it's a bit different than here. So RevWorks is a database that allows you to store your journal articles or other academic resources. And it's also, it's very convenient and it's very effective because you can save those journal articles. And in the event that you have a paper that's on a similar topic, or on a topic that's relevant, you can still draw from those resources as opposed to having to go through the system and look for those sources again. So the Writing Center is another key resource. It's there to help students with developing a strong thesis statement, making sure they have all the components of a research paper, and also making sure that their referencing styles is adequate. Printing is pretty straightforward. It's usually tied to your student account, so you get charged through that. Learning Disability Resource Spaces. It's a resource to help students who are not only having learning disabilities, but also having disabilities that also impact and affect their capacity to grasp the information. Universities have a way of trying to measure how much you know, and it's oftentimes done within a certain time frame. And for some students that have learning disabilities, they may need more time, they may need more resources, and that is what they help with. So moving on to services on campus, there's campus housing. So you can, there's housing that's on the campus, but it's not necessarily property of the university, in the sense that it's not like a residence where you have to, have a meal plan and abide by certain rules. You are very much independent, and it gives you more freedom. The next one is counseling, which again ties back to the learning disability and resource spaces. But the counseling has to do more with students who encounter challenges such as the death of a family member, an illness, or something that may interfere with their ability to excel, and that students can turn to when they need that. So the Career Center is very important, especially in your last years of university, because there's a lot of resources and a lot of opportunities that are posted there, and a lot of the employers that post their positions there are looking for university students. So it's just a matter of navigating that system and trying to find what works with the skill sets that you have and what you are willing to work towards. Moving on to our food services, we have, if you're on campus or if you're on residence, if you have a challenge of having to get your own groceries and cook for yourself, there's always other restaurants that you can come and buy stuff. But the issue is that you don't want to be too expensive. It gets expensive. Oftentimes foods are unhealthy, but that's just there as a service. Moving on to the bookstore. The bookstore is a good resource. It's a good resource, but in terms of managing your finances, it's better to also look for other stores that sell the same books. You can find friends or colleagues that are in that program. Books are often recycled, but they just have new edition, but it's the same material. So using an earlier edition or later, it doesn't make a difference. It's just a matter of grasping the information. Unless your professor is very anal about it and they want to have a specific way of you answering certain questions. The bookstore also allows you to return books, but the issue with returning books is that the money that you invested to buy these books is not, you don't get it back because oftentimes they will give you so little for it. So you might as well keep it. For your core courses, I recommend that you keep it because that serves as a reference in the later years when you're full into your career. And lastly is, well, convenience stores goes under, I would say, food services. The issue with food services and convenience stores is that their hours change depending on whether it's a holiday, depending on how busy the campus is. So it's not good to rely on that too much. It should just be something that you rely on if you don't have the time or finances to get some groceries and cook yourself a meal. And now we're moving on to experiencing campus. So extracurricular activities are very important. If you want to move on to graduate studies, they often want to see that you are a well-rounded student, and a well-rounded student is a student that not only balances their academic priorities, but is also able to manage having a job, volunteering, something outside of the academic space. So you can do that through joining clubs. I've done that, and it's a very rewarding experience meeting people. You're also introduced to things that you might want to pursue later on. I was the secretary of the York United Black Students Alliance, and it's a Pan-Africanist group. And it helps to enrich your education and give you a sense of identity within the campus, which I found very, very fruitful. Next are varsity sports teams. The good thing about those is that they do offer scholarships, and so it's good to look into that as well. Sororities and fraternities, they're not always, some schools don't allow them, but for the most part, they are there. So it depends on how willing you are to go out and see these opportunities. Next is joining student club and organizations. Pretty much the same as what I was mentioning earlier for the first point. And with the benefits of being involved on campus, you meet new people, which provides good networking skills. And we all know that oftentimes, unfortunately, it's not what you know, but it's not what you know, and not who you know, it's who knows you. So it's a matter of stepping up there and introducing yourself. And when you talk to people, you need to tell them, this is my name, and this is what I do, this is what I'm interested in. And oftentimes, there is one or two, if not more, commonalities. And with those commonalities, you can perhaps move into other things that you have hoped to do but couldn't before. So learning about different organizations. There are various organizations that work with the university that students can also look into. And these are organizations that are also extend beyond the university. And so they're also open to surrounding communities. And it's also good to take advantage of those. It enhances your life experience, and it also helps with building resumes. And overall, it helps to make the experience fun. I don't think I would suggest for students to just go to class and go home. I think it's also good to at least take a day or a few hours to look around the campus and see what's there, so that it helps to not only make you a more rounded student, but it also exposes you to things that you probably wouldn't have been exposed to. Thank you. So it isn't like the time, I think.
Okay, so bottom line, if you want to survive in college, time management is the key. You're your own boss in college. You choose when you want to take a class, you choose when you want to have a dinner, you choose when you want to have a break, and when you want to study. So even though exploring is fun, if you don't make time to study, then you might not survive in college. So biggest thing is that revising your notes. But what we want to encourage you to do is revise your biggest point first when it's freshly on your mind. So maybe after your hard classes, take a 10 minutes, go over your notes. And then be strict with yourself. There's a study called primacy and recency effect and Zingarnik effect. And what it really is that it shows that if you don't take breaks, you will learn less in a given period of time. So taking breaks after studying is very important. But we all know that we're all different. People are made different. Some people can study for 5 hours, some people only focus for 30 minutes. So what I want to encourage you guys to do is that when your first year, your second year, when you're still trying to figure out what classes you want to take, you're still trying to figure out what college is all about, figure out what your studying habit is all about. Maybe you study better in the library, maybe you study better in the coffee shop, maybe you study better in your own dorm. Take your time to figure it out. And what worked really good for me was carrying a planner. I literally wrote everything down from the day I wake up, from the time I wake up to the day I went to bed. Since I'm involved in so many other extracurricular activities, I made sure from this time to this time I will study and I will get it done. And that worked really good for me. So Jerry's now going to give you an example of how this time management worked really good for her.
Managing your time has to be personalized because people have different ways of doing that and things that work for them. Oftentimes what happens is school starts, pressure's not too much on in your first year, so you get comfortable. And you might not, unless you're the student that likes to start things early, you probably wait until all the assignments and exams start to pile up. And then things get hectic. And so you have to find a way to effectively manage that without compromising taking care of your health and taking care of other responsibilities. And so what happens for me, I don't know if I would call it bad luck, but what always happens to me for the past 3 years, or for the past 2 years, I guess, in a row, is that all my exams are immediately after my last class. And so that doesn't give me enough time to study for them. And oftentimes they're back to back, also followed by other essays as well. And these essays are not a few pages or a few pages, or sometimes the research papers, which can be about 12 pages, about like 12 sources. And so that takes a lot of time. And so you have to find a way that can work for you. It's not about how hard you work, although working hard is also key. It's about working smart. So you have to be strategic. If there's something that you already know, then don't focus on it. Focus on what you don't know. And use your time based on what it is you need to do. So if I have a novel, and I need to read this novel in 3 days, I divide the novels into 3 parts. And each part needs to be done on that particular day. If it's not, it gets pushed up to the next day, but you shouldn't let that happen. And so it's about being strategic with your time and with the way you do things. So just once I've had 5 exams, and 5 papers, and I've also had 3 exams back to back. So 5 papers due in March, 5 papers due in March, and 3 back-to-back exams in the first week of April. And so I had to find a way to do these things ahead of time so that I would be able to do them effectively. And so what I did was I would make sure I was doing my readings. So while I was doing my papers, I was also studying for the exam. Because oftentimes the information you need for your papers is also the information that will be covered for your exams. And if I have, for example, 2 exams on the same day and a series of papers, what I'll do is I'll say, these 2 hours, I'm going to do these readings. And the readings are about 40 pages, 30 pages, right? So I'm going to spend this hour and do these readings, and then take a break and work an hour and a half of this paper. Then take a break and work another 2 hours doing these readings. Take another break, and then do this again for an hour and a half before I go home. If you do this all day for about a week and a half, you can cover about a semester's worth of work and get your papers done. But it just requires that you're disciplined and that you stick to whatever it is that you plan on. You can't just say, oh, today I'm going to take a break. It's not going to work. Thank you.
This is something that a lot of universities don't really talk to the parents or talk to the students at all. You will at least once in college have a breakdown. You will get overwhelmed. You will miss your parents. You might get depressed. It happens. I went through it. And you gave back to my mom. I called her a couple times saying, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to come home. But, it happens and you get over it and you keep on pushing yourself. And when that situation happens, know that you're not alone. It happens to everybody. I even told my brother that's what happened. And this is his first year in university. One of his hardest classes that he took was chemistry. He went in there, he got it done, and he looked to the right. There was a girl that was crying. She was stressing over the test she was taking. He looked over to the left, and there was a guy that was even crying. So college is really stressful, guys. It happens. And a lot of people don't know is that, and a lot of, like I said, university never tells you is that suicide is the second leading cause of death in college students, age of 20 to 24. And that is caused by lack of sleep, poor eating habits, not enough exercise, a mega recipe for depression. Since you don't have your parents telling you when to have dinner and when to clean up, nobody's telling you what to do. You're on your own boss, and a lot of the time students get lazy and do whatever they feel like doing. Stress that comes with academics, pressure to get good grades, financial worries, relationship, conflicts are enough to force students to even leave college to worse, like death. It happens. So what I encourage parents is that sometimes your students might call home just to say, hey dad, hi mom, how are you? The bottom line is they miss you. They just want somebody to talk to. They are stressed, but maybe they don't want to say that to you because they don't want to disappoint you. So please listen to your kids. Know that they are under so much pressure in school. So just take time, give it a minute, just to tell them everything's going to be okay. Hearing from you guys helps a lot. And encourage the students to even do better in college. So now I'm going to pass it on to Lydia to finish up this evaluation of your direction.
Okay, so getting straight A's, maybe a few B's here and there, socializing, having fun. It feels good, life is good. Don't get carried away. College is only college is only for 4 years, and there's it take a little longer usually, but the point is that you're trying to get out, land a good job, one that gives you financial stability. Okay, so career options. Hopefully by now you know what you want to do. If not, you're not alone. There's actually a lot of college students who are not sure what career they want to pursue. So the thing I recommend for you to do is to take an aptitude test, personality test. There's a Myers-Briggs type indicator personality test. And once you complete this test, it gives you the options in terms of the careers that best suit your personality. So that'll give you a starting point. And once you choose the career you want to go into, you want to set career goals. Where do you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, within that career? Okay? And then to ensure you're on the right track, you're going to be meeting with your advisor. The worst thing that could happen is you think you're graduating, It's May, you're getting your cap and gown. Next thing you know, you're walking across the stage, you don't get that actual diploma because you missed a class that you might not be able to take until maybe a year later because it's offered once a semester. So check with your academic advisor, make sure that you're right on track so that you complete on time. And then gaining experience. This one was a big one for me personally. Landing an internship gave me the perception that I did not want to do finance. Nothing's wrong with finance, if anybody's thrown that out there, okay? But for my personality, the money was good, but when I did the internship for finance/accounting for a whole year, it paid well. I had little money to shop on the side. But the reality is, going into work every day, I was not that excited. I finished and I'm looking at the computer screen, what I was doing at that point. And it was just not fulfilling. So once I did the internship for a year, got that little bit of money, I knew I'd graduate with a bachelor's in finance, but I needed to do something else, something that was more rewarding. And so that's when I decided to do a second bachelor's in communication disorders. And I'm happy, I like it. So along with the internships, you have placements, apprenticeship, which is more of a Canadian term. They're similar to internships, and they give you that experience, except that it counts towards credits. So that's a good way to get an experience. Student research assistant. That is generally, in the US, it's generally for grad students. But in Canada, I believe the option is available. And depending on the major you're going into, that might be available for you. You just speak to the department head. With the work study programs, that's really good with funding. It goes along with what Shane talked on about funding. You can work, and it goes towards the little money you can pay for extra things like books and things of that nature. Studying abroad. Is it for you? The better question is it for your major, your career choice? And if you're doing something along the lines of psychology, studying abroad might just not be the best option. You might not add to your resume because everything you do in college, make sure you're adding to your resume. And so as far as applying to that, you go to the department heads. I know, for instance, in the language department, there's different study abroad papers. So you can follow up with the department and see if funding is available. And as far as the pros and cons, the biggest thing you want to focus on is finances. Can you afford it? Is it worth investment going abroad? I mean, we're already a different ethnicity in America. Every day basically is kind of different. We're not typical Americans, so you really need to study abroad just to gain a different perspective. We're having different perspectives. That's something to take into consideration. Okay, so you ask yourself, what will ensure you financial security? That's the biggest thing when you choose a career. You might be passionate about something, but if the passion leads you into having to sleep in the cardboard box just to make it to work the next day, is it worth it? If you're going into like singing or something, not to put those career options down, but the reality is, can you make a living with it? So think about that. Are you satisfied where you are and what you're studying? Like I said, touching back on the internship I had, I knew that was not for me. I need to do something that's more fulfilling. And I can wake up every day and be happy going to work. And graduate studies, depending on your major, it might not be necessary. But again, if you're doing something along the lines of psychology, you might have to do something like a doctorate just to make it. And that also touches on what Gia mentioned, is who you know. Some of these jobs, some of these career options, you will not get a job if you don't know somebody. You have to continue the graduate studies. So in the words of Maya Angelou, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. So available resources, the biggest resource you can have on campus is the Career Center in terms of landing a career that you want. I know a close friend of mine recently did a mock interview with the Career Center on campus, and she landed a really good job with Fidelity Investments because that mock interview helped her with the real interview. And then also, what they do is they do check your resume. You can turn your resume into the Career Center, they'll check it, and they'll give you feedback, so that way you can change it and make it more marketable. Program advisors, they can, notice, it's can be helpful. I know of about 2 or 3 individuals, my brother included, who actually had issues with that. Because the fact of the matter is, some of them see you as just a student ID. They don't help you with your personal goals. So you want to get an advisor that is well suited for you and has your best interests at heart. Mentors, that can be somebody in the field you're studying, you're going into. For instance, when I decided to do audiology, I shadowed an audiologist. And it helped with the shadowing because I got to see how she did things. And when I had questions, she had answers for me. And she actually wrote one of my letters of recommendation to grad school. Parents and guardians, a big one. Whenever I make any decision, I consult my parents. I know a side of me I might not know or realize, and so it's good to have their opinions. I might not necessarily follow it, but it's good to have the perception of parents. They play a big role in your life, right? And your professors, if you have a professor that knows how you work and how your work ethic, that you study well, and hopefully you're getting an A in your class, they can vouch for you when it comes to writing a letter of recommendation. Experienced workers, that goes back to mentors. And then also you want reliable online sources. Don't just go Google anything and click on it just because it has the words to it. So building your resume, volunteer records, big, work experience from internships and professional references. Like I said, it could be an advisor, it could be a mentor in that field, it could be a professor that knows you well, knows if you're making the grades you should be making that course. You want to highlight your skills and qualifications on your resume. That's the biggest thing. So again, once you get that resume, turn it into that career center, get that feedback so you know what to expect. And it should be polished and precise, no 2 pages is okay for resume. Don't make it 3, 4 pages. They don't want to know about every little thing you accomplished. Make it specific for that career you're applying to, or that job you're applying to. Okay, so remember these things. You want to think carefully about the option you choose wisely. Be smart about your decisions. Remember, finances are the biggest thing you want to focus on. You want to get involved on campus, help build that resume. And you want to enjoy your campus experience. Again, it's not just about academics. Some of my close friends I found in college. And new things are good things. Don't be afraid to try something new, and definitely prepare yourself for the real world. Okay, and let's go and pass it over to Luca.
Okay, thank you, Lydia. Just going off of what Lydia had finished saying, the most important thing I want you guys to take out of this also is to remember where you came from, remember that you can always go to your parents, and remember that God is always there with us. That is the most important thing that we have to keep with us. Never forget that if you're feeling down, remember that pray to God and He'll take care of it. So now we're going to go to our Q&A with our panelists. If we have some questions.
I'll just collect any questions in the middle, maybe pass on, then you can read us and get them all. We may not answer all of them because that is took their time. So.
Okay, this first question. From your personal experience, what are the pros and cons of being in campus, in the campus premises versus out of campus premises, and or staying at home while going to college? So this is just about the pros and cons of being on campus versus not being on campus.
So I live on campus, but I go home on the weekends. And one of the pros of living on campus is that you have the resources there. For me, I had a hard time with my math classes, but there were math tutors that lived in the dorm, and then there were also math tutors in the math class that I was able to go to day and night. And the cons of like going back home is that on weekends you have stuff that you have to do. Like for me, on Saturdays I was at church, on Sunday I was at church. So I had a hard time getting my work done because I was always doing something on the weekends. So I would recommend for students, if you want a time where you can focus or something, I would recommend that you live on campus because you have the resources there and you have people there that are willing to help you, and you're able to find people that are in your field that can help you with whatever you need.
Just to add to that, living on campus versus living off campus. I actually have the privilege of having my home very close to campus. It's an area where a lot of students live. Therefore, I have the ability to stay on campus late hours and then walk home if I choose to, right? 5 minutes and I'm there. So that's also a really great convenience if you're not living directly on campus and close by.
I just want to add one thing to that. Most universities in the United States, your first year, you have to stay on campus just so you can get your campus experience going, and it's also different for different states.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Next question. College shopping is loaded with commercial and marketing drives. What is the best approach to choosing a school?
What was the last part of the question?
What is the best approach to choosing a school?
The best approach to school is your major, really. The school, the college, sorry. Your major, whatever the school offers, that's the best way to choose your college. If they offer, if you're want to be a medical, going to the medical field, choose a school that has a high medical college. If they run communications, choose a school that has a good communication college. That's really simple answer to that question.
Or, and also think about your finances. You may want to go to an out-of-state school. Like I went to an out-of-state school for a semester, realized that it's too expensive, and went back to an in-state school. So think about also your parents' finances and how much money you're willing to spend on school. If you don't have enough money, then go in-state. There's good in-state schools and they have good programs as well.
Also, it's very important to visit your campus. Actually go there, talk to professors, talk to teachers, and figure out if you're really comfortable with that school. Actually going there, talking to the professors really helps making that final decision of if that's the school you want to go to.
Just gonna have to say that Winnie's really correct on that, because if you have a conversation with someone who's already in the field or who knows the school very well, you have like amazing insight into what your options are.
Thank you, Liz. Next question. How many classes would it be smart to start off with?
It'll take about 12 hours, which is generally 4 classes, just to start out with. Don't want to put too much of a heavy load on. You don't want to put too much of a load on your courses. You don't start with 10 or 18 hours. Start with 12 and start out with.
I just want to touch on to that. Most universities, to be a full-time student, you must take 12-hour credit, meaning 4 classes minimum. And you can always add more if you want to.
Just to say, back home in Canada, like at our university, KCNA, a full-time student, you have to at least be at 18 credits and fully at 30 credits. That would be like the ultimate overload. I think they will let you, 32, 36 credits? 36, yeah. So it's a little bit different, but like it is here.
I think it depends on the student and their work ethic. I think that if you have a strong work ethic, you can be able to balance a heavy course load. I took 5 courses in my first and second year, so that counted as 110%. And generally people take around 27, at most 30. So it was good because I had a strong work ethic. When I go home, at home we've established a pattern whereby when you have homework, there's always practice books on the side. My family is a family of educators, and so with us, when you don't have homework, you have something to do. So you can't. When my dad says, what do you have to do? You can't say nothing. He'll find something for you to do. So that helped to strengthen my work ethic. And 5 courses, if you are very disciplined, is manageable. But it's also manageable only if you're somebody that can balance other things. If you can balance going to the gym, if you can balance working out, if you can balance make time for church. So if you're not that student, then don't stress yourself and take too much, because if you don't get the grades that you need, it is affecting your GPA. And you want to be able to enjoy the experience. And I think people take so many courses because they want to rush out, but they don't realize that it's also about the experience, it's not necessarily the destination.
Yeah, thank you. I just have to comment on that as well. I play soccer at my university, and so we have the traveling season. We travel a lot, and with that, I'm involved in other activities on campus. And so, with that, it's really easy to lose track of your classes, organizing them and everything. And like when you said using the planner, making sure you have something physically written down for you to follow is probably the best way that you can manage your time. And I just want to stress that because it's good to be involved and do lots of things. It keeps you out of trouble, but make sure that your number one focus is your studies. That's why we're going to college, why we're pursuing our careers, because of that. So thank you guys. Next question. What about summer school? Do you recommend taking full classes in summer or not?
I think summer school helps in terms of finish one quicker. I just have reason to do over the summer as well. Sorry. So yeah, summer school is a really good idea. You should definitely take it if you have the time. Unless you want to go ahead and use that time to work, just to save some money for the expenses that come with the next semester.
Okay, thank you, Lydia. What are some of the lucrative fields of study besides business, medicine, engineering, and pharmacy? What are the other career options, I guess, is what the question is asking.
Okay, sorry, I had a slide on that, but that's kind of short. STEM, which is basically stands for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Anything in those categories are the best to take. USA Jobs they did a study where they found that the top 10 best paying jobs and jobs that actually gave you, jobs that were stable and gave you financial stability, fell in those categories. So that's a tough one because it's going to fall in the science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. Anything outside of that, anything artsy, it's hard to land a job with that. It's shaky. So, sorry.
Give you the arts perspective because I don't want to discourage people from taking what they want. I think that with the arts, yes, Lydia. If you're in the arts field of arts, I think that it's limiting to look at yourself as simply an employee. You cannot look at it as, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply here. If I don't get it, then what, right? You have to also look at ways of being resourceful. You have to take the information that you get from these courses and be able to apply it. And if not applicable in certain spaces, then you have to tweak it to those conditions or take it back home. And so we cannot look at ourselves as just future employees, but also let's look at the possibility of us being future employers, or also looking at the opportunity of taking these resources and making it applicable and also conducive to the conditions of certain spaces or certain circumstances. And so I think that there's a lot of room with the arts. If you're that person that just wants a 9 to 5 job, go ahead and do your sciences. But if you want to have some more creative that allows you to venture into different opportunities where you can explore and, I guess, put yourself out there, establish something, then the arts could be for you.
I had a quote on this week that I just wanted to read to everybody because I thought that it would be beneficial for somebody to hear. How do you? Okay, so I like to write. Therefore, these are my words, and I think that it is essential that you strive to be better than your yesterday. Learn to reach for your goals and become your biggest motivator. Because there's no one out there that can push you like you. Thank you. Okay, next question. college is expensive. Can you tell the parents the importance of setting a budget for your sons and daughters?
Yes, I can. So, I think that, for example, having like in Canada and RESP, like a registered education savings plan, since when the kids are small, is so beneficial because when they get older, there are certain struggles that you face. Like, for example, I live away from home, right? So I have to know my budget for certain things, right? I can't go over, and having had some sort of money that was having had some sort of money that was saved for me helped me out in the beginning. And money doesn't stay forever, let me tell you that. Money runs out. So for you to at least have some sort of stepping stone is good. So you just don't have to find yourself in the gutter.
Yeah, I would recommend parents please save up for your kids because at the end of the day, it's not like you're wasting money; it's an investment. You're investing in our future. So just like start even if you end up pregnant, just like you know what, I'm gonna open an account for my kid and that's gonna be the account. You know, just start young because at the end of the day, they may get a scholarship and that money that you did save up for their college could go on for their future. They can buy a house or something with it if they end up getting a scholarship. But if they don't end up getting a scholarship, at least they have that money to fall back on and say, okay, my parents did save money for me to pay for my school. And it's not a waste of money. You're investing in your kids, and at the end of the day, it benefits you too because we're gonna take care of you guys.
Okay. We'll wrap this up with this last question. Tell us about the spring breaks and what it's like. Tell us about the experience. Kind of, oh.
Well, we don't have a spring break. Everyone knows I'm Canadian by Everyone knows I'm Canadian by now. Yes, the Canadian perspective. Here we go. In Canada, we don't have what is called a spring break. We have a reading where you're expected to do a lot of schoolwork. Like the teachers don't just leave you to have your fun for the week. No. They pile that work up, and then you have to get it done in that week. And then you come back and you have more work to do. So it's funny, whenever you guys are going on spring break, we're still in school, then we go on reading week, and you guys are in school, and then we have, actually, do we even get a March break? No, we don't even get a March break. And so our schooling system is clearly a little bit different, but I will say that you have to find time to do you, and I mean, take time for yourself. Don't make it 100% about the academics because if you do that, you are going to push yourself into a situation of stress. And I've experienced stress. It's not good. It doesn't feel nice. It's not healthy. And so if you don't take the time to sit down and have a chat with your friend, a coffee, if you don't take the time to go to a gathering, maybe go to a party if you want to go to a party, be responsible, but just understand that at the end of the day, having your academics be great doesn't actually mean that you have to sacrifice all other aspects of, just having a little bit of fun in it.
And from the United perspective of ways, spring break is actually, that's kind of weird. American, I don't know. Anyway, we get spring breaks because with spring breaks, we get 1 whole week away from school. It's pretty much a break. After taking classes and taking exams for months after month, that's what we need to, teachers give us a week to just relax. But it's actually not really relaxing because what comes after spring break is tests. People think that spring breaks, we get to relax, we don't need to do anything, but they're actually giving you that week to think about what's coming next. We have midterms, we have tests, just a week to really relax. You can do whatever you want to do. Most of the time I spend spring break, I go home and spend it with my family, but also 50% of the students are usually starting during the spring break. Okay, I think that is going to conclude our session. So let's give our panelists another round of applause. So like we've all been saying, education is the most important thing. Teach that from your kids from when they can barely walk to when they're adults. We can continue learning at any age. So thank you.
Some of the questions that are not answered, we're going to have them given to them, and then they will respond in writing, and it will be posted on the website. Thank you very much for going straight to the point. That's how, to me, I see it as the difference in the education system. If I were to ask the old folks that were educated in Africa, they would go round and round, and at most they would have answered only 2 questions. But they've answered a lot of questions and they went straight to the point. So let's give them another hand of applause. So you can see that what they went through, they're talking from their own experience, and it's what we can learn. Some of us never got a chance to be told what they went through, and that is the purpose of this session, that their own experience would help those who are about to head in that direction, so that they can follow, so that they don't run into the same pitfalls that maybe they experience. So thank you again very much, the youth. We love you for your commitment to the community, and continue to do a good job. Yes.
So now we're going to be moving to a prayer by Reverend Michael King.
I want to ask something. Can we all stand up for our youth, please? Let's stand up for them. Stand up for them. Thank you so much. Now that we stood up for them, let us pray. Father in heaven, we thank you so much for this wonderful occasion, wonderful opportunity that we can sit together as parents and children, children who have made wonderful experience in different schools, different countries. We are so privileged that we have this opportunity before us. So we pray for the young ones who have listened and they are about to make decisions about going to schools, which school to choose, where to go. Father, we pray that you help them to navigate those challenges of life. We have a break, we have blessed us mightily. There is food waiting for us, Father. We pray that you bless it to the nourishment of our bodies. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Let's go in peace.
So we're going for lunch. Let's hurry up going there and coming back. This day is a busy day, so we don't want to waste a lot of time. So